how to unlock cash flow in your business and get your invoices paid in as quickly as 24 hours. Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Paul Lambus. I'm the owner of CVG Finance and I'll be your host in today's webinar. In today's session, I will teach you how you can improve your cash flow by receiving your payments in as little as 24 hours from issuing an invoice and open up new opportunities for your business. We will be talking about a service called Debtor Finance. We will explain all the essential elements of the concept and we'll cover everything you need to know to leverage this service for your business successfully. As we go through the webinar, you'll understand how Debtor Finance can not only help your business get back on track, but can also help it grow and unlock its full potential. We're going to start with the webinar in just a few minutes, but before we do, I want to remind you that this session is sold out, and because of that, I advise you stay logged in so you do not lose your spot in today's session. I see that people are still arriving and getting settled in, so let's give them a few minutes before we start. I'd like to use this opportunity to say how pleased I am to see so many of you showing interest in this webinar. It's great to see many people interested in Debtor Finance because it's truly one of the fastest and most powerful ways to keep your cash flow balanced at all times, and to let your business thrive no matter what. Even if you already know something about Debtor Finance, here you'll get the most extensive collection of information that will help you decide whether this service is for you and also get started if you do decide to use it. We're starting the webinar soon, so if you wish to grab a snack or a cup of coffee, now's a good time to do that. Just let me do a quick sound check and get you guys to type yes in the comment field if you can hear me. Also, don't hesitate to use the comment field if you have any questions or comments throughout the presentation. I'll be answering those at the end, so stick around. We're going to wait for a few more minutes to give everyone a chance to get settled in and then we'll get started. Once again, allow me to say that I'm really glad to have so many of you attending this session. It makes me even more excited to share all the useful information that I've prepared for you today. Also, don't forget you can leave your questions in the comments section and I'll be answering them at the end of the session. We may even cover a few questions during the webinar, so make sure you stay tuned. We're going to start in a few moments now, so make sure you're comfortable and I'll be back with you shortly. Hi and welcome back. People are still coming in, but we're going to go ahead and get started because it's only fair to those of you who have been here on time. So I want to thank you again for attending today's session. I'll try to answer as many of the questions at the end of the webinar, and I'll make sure you walk away with some useful and applicable information. So without further ado, let's start today's session by doing a rundown of the main topics we're going to cover. So firstly, what is Debtor Finance? In the first section of the webinar, we'll be covering the basics. We'll explain what Debtor Finance actually is and how it works. Aside from the basic concepts, here you will learn what types of Debtor Finance exist and how they differ. You will also learn why Debtor Finance has been flying under the radar and why you probably haven't heard about it up until now. Then we're going to cover the benefits of Debtor Finance. We will dedicate the second section of the webinar to all the major benefits of debtor financing. Debtor Finance has no drawbacks associated with other potential solutions to financial issues. Instead, it has numerous benefits that will allow your business to thrive and reach its full potential. Then we'll cover who can benefit from it. Next, we will list all the businesses that can benefit from this service and we will answer the one question that surely must interest you. Are you eligible for Debtor Finance? Then finally, how to start using Debtor Finance. Finally, I will help you get started on Debtor Finance by giving you the exact steps you need to take to implement this service into your business and have your outstanding invoices paid in 24 hours. So before we proceed any further, I wanted to make a few things clear. So I wanted us to define who this webinar is for and what you can expect from it. This webinar is for all serious business owners who wish to learn how to stabilise their cash flow and take their business to the next level. It is for all those who don't want to keep waiting for 30 to 90 days to get their money that's rightfully earned and get it into your hands. This webinar is for those who want to take control of their business's future and be able to use every opportunity that comes their way. It's for those who need a simple and secure way to make financial and cash flow issues a thing of the past. But this webinar is not only for business owners who have financial troubles, it's also made for those who are looking to grow their businesses without worrying about money. How good does that sound? Since Debtor Finance is just a way to get your money back to you as quickly as possible, is for all those who just want to be able to seamlessly manage their finances regardless of their clients' debts. Now, before I proceed, I want to tell you a little bit about my company and me. Don't worry, I won't bore you. I just believe that knowing the person you're speaking to enriches the conversation and builds trust. So we're a finance brokering company, and in our nearly 10 years of existence, we've operated with a single goal in mind: to help other determined, ambitious people to achieve their goals and reach their dreams. At CVG Finance, we are experts in everything from managing large finance commercial deals to equipment and business finance, as well as debtor finance and residential finance. We are a down-to-earth, energetic team, passionate about work and helping our clients. That's why you will never hear us speak that technical talk that you need an interpreter for. We'll make sure to explain everything in a language you understand and to take care of everything for you so you can focus on growing your business. A major reason why we're so good at what we do is because we know bankers extremely well. And we know them because some of us were a banker, but we decided to follow our passion in a different direction and deal with finances in a more relaxed and friendly atmosphere. When it comes to me, I think of myself as a people's person. That's why I approach business in such a fun way. But I'm also incredibly competitive, and I always give my best to be the best. My family is my first passion, and want to ensure my 3 children grow up with opportunities, choices and freedom to achieve their goals. And I have the same approach with my clients. After all, CVG stands for care, value and growth, which is something I always strive for personally and professionally. So there you go, enough about me. That being said, let's get to work and unlock your business potential. So what is debtor finance? Let's start by explaining what debtor finance is, because I'm sure most of you are still either completely unaware of the service or unclear about how it actually works. Debtor finance is a facility that allows you to have access to the money that is owed to you by your customers. You see, a lot of businesses are forced to offer credit to their customers and allow them to pay for the goods and services in 30 to 90 days. This is often the only choice to keep that business running and keep the customers. But it also means that you have to wait for your money. The money that you've earned fair and square, potentially up to 90 days. Once the invoices start stacking up, this could turn into more than just a harmless hiccup for your business. In the best case scenario, you keep doing business as usual, but you are forced to forego all those new opportunities that arise because you can't get access to that money. Worst case scenario, such severe problems that the future of your business is compromised. Debtor finance is one of the best and fastest growing solutions to this problem. And it's rapidly becoming more and more popular among companies around the world because it actually allows you to access your own money instead of borrowing it and becoming a debtor yourself. Sounds good? But how does it actually work? With debtor finance, you are transferring your customer's debt to a third party, a financier or lender. Once you sell the goods or service to the customer, your invoice is forwarded to the financier. The financier then verifies the invoice and sends you 80% of that invoice of the money you are owed in 24 to 48 hours. This means that 80% of your money is immediately turned into working capital and you receive the remaining 20% minus a small fee as soon as your customer pays the financier. There are 3 types of debtor finance: disclosed, confidential and selective. So let's go through each of those. So the first one, disclosed financing, is also known as invoice factoring. And as its name suggests, the debtor is informed that the debt should be paid directly to the financier. This type is really convenient because it's a full service that also offers debt collection, sales ledger administration and reporting. In this case, the financier covers the debt with their debt collection service, which leaves you time to focus on other things. So if you don't want to chase your debtors and concern yourself with all the paperwork that comes along with it, disclosed finance just might be the right solution. However, if you choose, you can also manage the debt collection yourself, so don't stress about that. Confidential finance, known as invoice discounting, is the second type of debtor finance, and as you can suppose, in this case, your debtors don't know about the financier. Also in this case, the company has its own debt collection or credit management system, so they don't need that service from the financier. Using invoice discounting, you'll be responsible for the credit and debt collection process. The third type of debtor finance, selective finance, is perfect for the businesses that don't need debtor finance for all their invoices, but only fund some larger purchases and launch new products. With this type, you can limit the amount of money you get so that you can control the interest. I can imagine what you're thinking right now. If debtor finance is a great solution, why haven't I heard of it already? There's a valid reason. In fact, debtor finance is not widely marketed at all. And the little you may have heard about debtor finance could be a part of its bad reputation. But don't let that misled information fool you. Now I'm going to tell you exactly why debtor finance is not widespread yet. Firstly, business owners are worried their clients will find out and think they have financial problems. I completely understand this concern. However, it's completely unjustified. As I just explained a few minutes ago, there are several types of debtor finance and you can opt for the one that suits your needs best. So if you don't want your clients to find out that you're using the facility, just opt for the confidential finance and let your business run as it normally would without your customers even suspecting anything. Secondly, few banks offer debtor finance. In fact, only 2 of the 4 majors offer this service. Even though there are numerous smaller financiers that are in this business, it just isn't as common and marketed as some of the other financial products. Next, even if people have heard of debtor finance, for some reason they think it's expensive. But actually, debtor finance lenders charge a small fee that is deducted from the remaining 20% that your debtor pays you. The other terms are also custom tailored to fit your business. It's really cost effective. Now imagine waiting 90 days for the money that you've earned and you've already invested a lot in your products and services. Debtor finance doesn't let you compromise your company's future over some small debts that aren't your fault. The next myth that surrounds debtor finance is that it requires security. While it's actually one of the financial solutions that will help you hold on to your business equity and your personal assets. While a popular solution for business in this situation is an overdraft, that is extremely risky and a rigid option. If you decide to take on an overdraft, you will need to put your assets, your home as security, and possibly risk your business and even your family home. And even then, the amount you're allowed will be limited to the value of the security that you've put up. Debtor finance, on the other hand, doesn't require any type of security, doesn't limit the amount of money, and doesn't force you to borrow the money you have actually earned. Even if you've heard good things about debtor finance and to consider giving it a try, a lot of business owners give up on the idea because they are not quite sure how to find a reliable service for collaboration. See, choosing a debtor finance facility is not an easy feat, but bear with me until the end of this webinar and I will share something that will be really useful to you when it comes to this issue. Finally, some businesses still steer clear from debtor finance because they're afraid that using the service will bring them a bad reputation. Somehow, debtor finance is associated with borrowing money and financial crisis. But as I already said, and I will repeat this during the webinar probably 1,000 times, this is your money, the money you've earned, and you're only taking what's yours instead of having to wait 90 days for it. You're taking control of your financial situation and are allowing yourself to plan for growth more easily. Besides, with an undisclosed facility, your clients don't even know. So the benefits of debtor finance. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the benefits of debtor finance because those that have hopped on the train of debtor finance are swearing by it. It's not only super convenient, but it also carries very little risk. So, Here are some of the things you need to know about Debtor Finance that can help you save your business and grow it too. The first and main benefit, of course, is getting the money owed to you right now. I can't stress that enough. You will receive 80% of the invoices immediately and the rest once the customer pays, and that's all you need to worry about. Many companies need to resort to offering discounts in order to get the goods or services paid for right away. This means you will get less money than you originally planned, and it's not going to be a guarantee you get the sum paid in whole. This leaves you right where you started, just with less money. Debtor Finance allows you to forget about discounts, forget about worrying when your clients will finally pay, and just turn that money into working capital in as little as 24 hours. I'll talk about the next benefit in more detail in the next section, but I want to mention it now as well. Namely, almost all types of businesses can benefit from Debtor Finance. No matter if you're selling clothes, house decorations, or marketing service, you'll be eligible for a Debtor Finance facility. It also doesn't matter if you make thousands or hundreds of thousands if you're employing a team of 10 or 100 people. Debtor Finance is a service for almost everyone. There are a couple of logical rules. However, your business needs to offer goods or services on credit, and they need to be delivered to your customer in full before they're able to apply for Debtor Finance. Another benefit of Debtor Finance is the stable cash flow that it brings to your business. And trust me, as a business owner, I know this. I understand the struggle. A steady, reliable cash flow that you can count on is every entrepreneur's dream. With Debtor Finance, it now becomes a reality. This service restores your cash flow and instantly eliminates all the unpredictable scenarios where you need to think of 1,000 other ways to obtain the money to let your business function normally. With such a stable cash flow, you can not only sleep in peace knowing your business is safe, but you can also plan the future of your company and plan for growth. Debtor Finance allows you to protect what's dearest to you instead of having to risk and sacrifice it to save your company. Like so many business owners before had to, I'm talking about the overdraft, of course. The dreaded solution is unfortunately one of the most common solutions out there, but it has so many drawbacks, it has so many restrictions. If you want an overdraft, you need to supply some of your assets as security. That means your home, your car, your belongings, your company-owned premises, the very company that you're trying to keep above water and could potentially all be lost if you can't return the money. You're risking all of that, but that's not all. An overdraft is essentially a loan, which can be quite humiliating and frustrating when you know that your money is in someone else's hands. The next great benefit of Debtor Finance is the low price. Since the whole point of Debtor Finance is to let you get a hold of the money that you've earned without having to give up a large proportion of it, an expensive service wouldn't make much sense. That's why you receive the initial 80% of your money, and then the small fee is deducted from the remaining 20% that you receive after the debtor pays. Debtor Finance is becoming more and more popular for another reason. The Debtor Finance limit grows with your business. While an overdraft, you need to supply your assets as security and then be limited to the value of the security. Debtor Finance is flexible. Remember, the limit grows with your business grows. As your business and your sales grow, your invoices will become higher, and so will the amount of money at your disposal. A steady cash flow that Debtor Finance enables you another advantage. It gives you an edge over the competition. We want to be better than our competitors. As we mentioned in the first section of the webinar, a lot of businesses are still either unaware of this service or suspicious towards it due to ignorance. This means that leveraging Debtor Finance for your business sets you apart from the competition and gives you better negotiating power as well. You see, with a stable cash flow, you'll be able to negotiate better deals with your suppliers, take advantage of bulk discounts and prompt payment benefits. All of which means you'll be able to implement a growth plan and a future for your business much more easily. Okay, so who can benefit from Debtor Finance? Alright, let's move on to the third section where we'll discuss who can benefit from Debtor Finance. We already mentioned that most organisations are eligible for Debtor Finance, but now I want to talk about the indications for applying. In other words, I want to discuss the circumstances in which most companies decide to opt for Debtor Finance so you can decide whether it's something that could suit your situation. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, first things first. As I already said, any business that wants financial stability can benefit from debtor finance. Using this facility is different from other financial solutions that you choose for multiple reasons, but one in particular. This is not like a loan. This is not a scenario where you risk your assets and get in debt yourself. This is money immediately turned into working capital and ready to use as you see fit. So, this service is for all businesses that want a cash flow they can count on without borrowing and taking on risk. Debtor finance is also meant for those companies that don't want to miss out on any new business opportunities. The amount of times I've heard clients say, I haven't been able to take on that new work because of cash flow issues. Just pains me to hear that. So imagine having to say no to a lucrative new business opportunity just because you just couldn't get a hold of the money owed to you. There's nothing worse and more frustrating for an entrepreneur, but it happens more than it should. With debtor financing, however, you will have a reliable cash flow that allows you to take on any new projects that you find interesting and set the basis for long-term growth. Startups are another type of business that could benefit from debtor financing. We all know those first stages of setting up a business can be tremendously difficult with all the expenses, challenges, setbacks that happen during those first days. The last thing you need on top of this as a startup company is taking on more risk or falling into debt at this fragile and cost-heavy stage. Debtor finance allows you to focus on your clients and new business without worrying about debt and additional costs. Even though debtor finance is not a sign of financial difficulties, it can be the solution in that case too. A lot of companies are burdened by tax debt and other financial troubles which prevents them from getting any other form of financial support. Well, there's one thing that can help you in this difficult situation. You guessed it, debtor finance. You see, debtor finance services don't care about your other debts. They only care about your invoice. Yes, they look at your loans and they want to check that they're in order and that you're going okay, but it's not critical to the application. This is the money you've already earned, which lowers the risk for your lenders and makes the service accessible to you. It's hard to think about growing your business with all the financial challenges out there. Add your outstanding invoice that take up to 90 days to the equation and it's almost impossible. Without a reliable cash flow, all you can do is sit and wait and hope your customers will pay you your money on time. That's why debtor finance is an excellent solution for growth-oriented businesses looking to expand. Running a business means adjusting to all the unexpected circumstances, but this way you can at least rely on a steady cash flow that makes planning for growth infinitely easier. Finally, I want to emphasize something I already mentioned. Debtor finance is for organisations of any size, scope and industry. I'm even going to say that again. You know I like repeating things. Debtor finance is for organisations of any size, scope and industry. Don't think you are not eligible just because you employ less than 30 people or because you work in an unusual niche. Debtor finance is a flexible service and adjusts to your business needs. That means that you will be able to negotiate the terms that suit you and choose a facility that fulfills your needs the best. The service is based on a percentage of your invoices, which means that it adapts to your financial situation. Okay, now that you know if one of these situations apply to you, I'm guessing your next question is whether you're eligible for debtor finance. Here are some essential conditions that decide if you are eligible or not. Firstly, you need to be a company. Unfortunately, debtor finance can't fund natural people, only companies. So you need to be set up in a structure. Secondly, the paperwork needs to be submitted as evidence. You need to prove that you've sold and delivered the good or services you've provided to your customer. In other words, you need a purchase order, an invoice, and the proof of the debt. We call this a paper trail. Your customers will also need to be checked a little. So debtor finance services will usually do research on your debtor's credit and any outstanding court issues or judgment that they might have. Remember, we're going off the strength of your debtors, so there's a little bit of due diligence that goes in there. They also might check their trading history with you and other suppliers to see if they have a good track record. Aside from that, a debtor finance service won't finance invoices outstanding for more than 90 days because they are no longer valid. So just remember that. Look at your ledger, see what you've got post 90 days, and we've got to take that off the limit. If your business meets these criteria, you're good to go. Make a deal with the Debtor Finance service and you'll receive your money in as little as 24 hours. It is really as simple as that. Okay, how to start using Debtor Finance. In the final section, I want to explain how to start using Debtor Finance. By now, you have probably concluded whether the service would be something you want to try. So now I want to show you how easy it is to start using. Okay. So the first step is to assess the situation, to see whether Debtor Finance really is a solution suitable for your business and your situation. You need to remember these circumstances we talked about in the last section. Are you tired of waiting around for your earned money and just want a stable cash flow? Do you want to plan growth and expansion but can't seem to find the right moment because of the unpredictable financial situation? Are you scared of your company's future and can't find another financial solution because you're already weighed down by tax debt? Or you're a young startup struggling to succeed and you don't need another financial setback with everything going on? Well, in short, whatever your situation is, you will probably benefit from Debtor Finance. However, even if you decide to give Debtor Finance a try, you may not be eligible for the service. The second step is checking if you are eligible. A Debtor Finance service will do their research and tell you whether or not you can qualify. But it's best not to waste your time if you already know you're not. It's true that most businesses can benefit from Debtor Finance, but the criteria we talked about in the last section must be met. You need to be a company, sell your goods on credit, and sell to other businesses. Your transactions must be backed up with paperwork and your invoices not older than 90 days. These and other criteria we talked about will decide whether you are eligible. Let's talk about the cost of debtor financing for a moment. This is the third step, determining how much the service will cost you. We already said that debtor finance functions on the basis of percentages, so the cost of your service depends on two factors, your turnover and the risk of your invoices. Of course, if your company has a high turnover, you'll be able to get better deals and lower rates from debtor finance lenders. And when it comes to the risk of the invoices, you are probably aware that all invoices are not created equal. Some of your customers are not as reliable as others, which is where the risk lies. The higher the risk, the higher the charge will be. But I don't want you to be scared off about this. Normally, the cost of debtor finance is similar to bank overdraft rates, and you shouldn't go above that price. But once you determine the amount of the invoice and the percentage that your chosen lender charges, you'll be able to calculate the price. But in this point, I want you to remember, if you've got a bank overdraft, it's going to be within that range. It's not ridiculously expensive. Before going to the lender, you should also choose the type of debtor finance service that best suits your needs. We talked about the three types of debtor finance, so you can make a choice between disclosed and confidential, and decide if you will deal with debt collection yourself or let the lender do it for you. Now, on this point, I just said you should choose, but the lender may also guide you with this. You may be only eligible for one, but again, get your thoughts around if you have a preference or not. For deciding whether you want disclosed or confidential debtor finance, you'll be able to make an assessment based on the strength of your business, your industry, and your customers. It's important to note once again that debtor finance is not something you should be embarrassed about. It's not a loan, but a sound decision for your business that will help you take your business to the next level. But if you still want to hide it from your customers, that may be an opportunity for you to do that. Okay. So let's suppose you've assessed your situation, decided that debtor finance is the right way to go, and you've determined that you're eligible. You've calculated the price you can expect, and you've chosen the type of service that best suits you. Now it's time to choose your lender. This step can be tricky. There are numerous debtor finance services, and you can't really know which ones are reliable and who you can trust. So I'll do this again. This next step can be tricky. There are numerous debtor financial services, and you can't really know which ones are reliable and who you can trust. Besides, it would take you hours and hours to get in contact with all of them and find the service that will offer you the best deal. Look, don't worry, however, there are finance consultants that are specialised in helping finding the right debtor finance lender for you. These consultants have databases with the most reliable lenders, and by assessing your situation, they present you with the best deals. And there you have it. Once you've hired a lender, you can relax and let them take care of everything for you. You'll have your money in as little as 24 hours, transferred straight into your working capital account, so you can continue to do business as usual. Alright, let's get straight to your questions now. I have to apologise in advance because I'm afraid I won't be able to answer all of them since we're running out of time. But we have time for a few, so let's see. Okay, first question comes from Alison. Debtor finance sounds great, and I think I will give it a try. Can you tell me how long it usually takes to receive the funds once I make a deal with a lender? Hey Alison, great question. Well, when you choose a lender, they have to do something called due diligence. During that process, the lender checks your business, organisation, your customers, commercial credit, your financial statements, and all that paperwork we mentioned, and your credit and debt collection procedures. That due diligence process with invoice factoring is usually quick and pretty flexible. It takes a day or two to finish it and start the transaction. The process for invoice discounting usually takes longer as it is a little more complicated. We don't have enough time to explain all the details right now, but stick around and I'll share something really helpful at the end. Okay, let's move on to the next question. It comes from Robert, and he's asking, hi everyone, are there any risks to debtor finance? Hey Robert, no, there are no hidden underlying risks to this service. If you find a reliable debtor finance lender and calculate the price, everything should go as planned. Look, however, at the stage where the lender is assessing your situation, it's essential to be honest with the lender. And if they don't find any errors and deem you eligible for the service, and you know there is something wrong, you can fall into big trouble. Being transparent, you're more likely to strike a deal with the lender, even if there are problems. Anyway, I'll tell you more about this concern in just a bit. Let's now hear another question, and we're really to wrap it up for the day. So our last question comes from Kevin. He's asking, hey Paul, thanks for all that useful information. No worries, Kevin. So how do I choose the right lender? Another great question. Hey Kevin, glad you found it useful. All right, so there are a few things you need to pay attention to when choosing a debtor finance lender to work with. Try to check how long a company has been in business. Of course, a company with longer experiences is likely to be more reliable. You can all ask for testimonials to see if they've offered good service and how satisfied their previous clients are. Then take a look at their fees. Some companies have discount fees, charges monthly, so you know to check if the company's prices are competitive. You also need to see if the company is a good fit for the size of your business. Yes, businesses of all sizes can use debtor finance, but look, it's best not to be the lender's smallest or biggest client we generally find. You want to be matched and paired with a lender that deals with clients like yourself every day of the week. Okay, that's all the time we have, and I hope that's helped, and I apologise once again for not being able to answer all your questions. As promised, I do have good news for all of you that still have questions and concerns. I hope you have learned a lot of helpful information and that the whole concept of debtor finance is much clearer to you now. But truth be told, every business is different and each of you has some other challenges and problems you're facing. So here's what I'm offering. I want to help each one of you with your specific problem and your specific situation. I'm offering a completely free 30-minute consultation in which we'll sit together and decide what the best approach for your business would be. My team and I will make an honest assessment of your business's current position to gain a better understanding of your invoicing system and create a robust plan for unlocking your business cash flow. We'll help you find trusted financial institutions and negotiate the best deals that perfectly suit your business needs. At CVG Finance, we will do all the heavy lifting for you and save you a ton of time so you can actually focus on the things that matter to you the most, growing your business or simply enjoying doing what you love. There's no fee, no strings attached. You have zero obligations towards us after the consultation. Just hop on a call with me and we'll figure out how you can get your outstanding invoice paid in just 24 hours. Once you learn how to leverage debtor finance to secure a steady cash flow, you won't even have to worry about delaying your business or missing out on lucrative business opportunities. Click on the link below to schedule a free consultation right now. That's all I have for you today. I hope you've had fun and you've learned something new and useful. I want to wish you all the best of luck in the future, and I hope to hear from you as soon as so we can grow your business together. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.